Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we're going to be doing another article. And today we're going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. Karen Gillan played a perfect Nebula. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different, but I'm hoping that you'll enjoy it. Okay. So now on with the news. And this article was actually posted on September 20th of 2020. Okay. So when Karen Gillan appeared in the 2014 movie Guardians of the Galaxy, not even the film's creators realized what an important and lasting role her character Nebula would have in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay. So over the course of 4 movies, Nebula evolves from a fierce warrior on the side of evil to a powerful, if tormented, ally of the Avengers. For some fans, Gillan has proved herself to be perfect for the part. Now we go into some really interesting details. Who is Karen Gillan? Okay. Gillan is a unique Hollywood star, but not because she lacks anything in talent or looks. According to Cinema Blend, she hails from Scotland, where it seems she was primed to take on dramatic roles at a young age. She made her own amateur horror movies when she was just in her teens. Her parents fully supported her. In fact, her father even appeared in her movies, often smeared with ketchup to look like he was bleeding. Okay, so she found stardom in the UK, landing a plum role on television as Amy Pond, a companion of the famous Time Lord on Doctor Who. After doing some acting in movies in Europe, she came to the US to appear on Broadway in 2013. Okay. Now around the same time, she was cast as Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. She went on to appear in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. She's slated to appear next year in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Okay. Why is Nebula wounded? Okay. According to the LA Times, Nebula was originally not intended to survive past the first movie, but the character proved to be so compelling that the franchise's creators decided to keep her around and watch her character develop. And what a development arc it turned out to be. Nebula was originally a villain, the adopted daughter of the Avengers' arch-nemesis, Thanos. Thanos trained her and her adoptive sister, Gamora, to fight for him, but he treated her brutally, torturing and mutilating her whenever she failed. Now this abuse eventually helped lead to his downfall. Over the course of the 4 movies she's been in so far, Nebula turns on Thanos and Gamora, eventually joining forces with the Avengers to bring her adoptive father down. Along the way, she develops a bond with Tony Stark. The fans noticed one scene they were together, and they were impressed at how well Gillan portrayed her character's emotional pain. Paper football and important lessons. Okay. Fans on Reddit got into a discussion of this important moment in this scene. Nebula and Tony Stark were playing a game of paper football during a dark and hopeless moment. Instead of treating her callously, as you might expect from him, Stark is almost tender, giving her advice, and the way Gillan showed Nebula's response blew fans away. I love how wounded Karen plays her too, one fan said. She seems both dangerous and sympathetic. Like, you want to give her a big hug, but only with assurance that she won't stab you. Others were quick to agree, pointing out that they didn't think Gillan got enough credit for her role. Okay, but then Karen's performance could get more praise, one said. She goes from over-the-top goof to a walking wound of an android. In interviews, when they were asking all the cast the same questions, one was, who transforms the most? And every single answer was Karen. Viewers felt that Nebula's story deserved top-notch acting, and Gillan delivered. Nebula has always been second best and punished, criticized, and basically tormented. Notice how she cringes away from Tony when she wins, and her exceptionally cautious reaction when he acts gracious and complimentary toward her. It seems that casting Gillan to play the part of Nebula was an excellent decision, as fans wait for her next movie to come out. They continue to be impressed by what she's already done. Now, on that same note, there's another Nebula article. It says, why Nebula was really smiling during her game with Tony Stark. Now this is a couple months ago. This is from July 26th of 2020. Out of all Marvel Cinematic Universe characters, Nebula, Karen Gillan, seems the most tragic. If also being one of the greatest survivors, after being the adopted daughter of Thanos, as also the adopted sister to Gamora, the two became overly competitive, almost to a point of killing each other. Alright? But later, of course, they become close. If Nebula being tortured for years due to her always feeling inferior to her sister, having Thanos as her father never helped matters much either. Once joining the Avengers, she had a few lighter moments. Fans recently mentioned a scene with Tony Stark that brought a smile to many viewers' faces. Ironically, it was due to Nebula cracking a smile for the first time. And now, there's something else on this article that will make you happy as well. Nebula's friendships in the Avengers. And here's a video here that you could play on the article or on YouTube. It says Avengers Endgame Gamora and Nebula scenes. We can stop him. I'm not going to play it right now, but I'm probably going to play it after I upload this video. Okay. So, having Nebula join the Avengers was ultimately good for her psyche, including having her participate in the ultimate decimation of her stepfather. Before officially joining, however, she was on Titan with Tony Stark to attempt to stop Thanos from acquiring the Soul Stone. Okay, but when Thanos wiped out half of all civilization with the snap and managed to spare Nebula and Tony, nevertheless, while attempting to escape Titan, they left in the broken down spaceship Benatar. They were soon stranded in space when finding out the fuel cells were damaged when the battle on Titan occurred. With Nebula and Tony Stark stuck in space together, it was inevitable they would find some way to bond. Okay. As mismatched as they looked, fans call out the scene where Nebula and Stark play paper football to fill time with limited resources. Okay? Fans say Nebula and Stark's friendship was sweet and nice. And here's another video you can play. Avengers Endgame paper football opening scene, Stark versus Nebula. That's really cool though. Alright. On Reddit, someone noted that paper football scene and something no one had seen prior. Nebula cracking a smile for once. Having to do this was proof she was capable of showing feelings. If everyone knowing why she kept a straight face for so long. Stark teaching her a simple human earthly game seemed to have charmed her, even if fans still analyze what was behind her smile. Perhaps it was beguiling as Mona Lisa's smile, something bringing just as much mystery. Said one Reddit commenter, after Infinity War, I was convinced that Tony would just annoy the heck out of her after they were both the only ones left on Titan. But the fact that they ended up bonding in this survival situation was really sweet and nice to see from the outset. One would probably think of them clashing based on their abrasive personalities. When stuck in space and facing possible death, things had to change. Okay, now perhaps one could say they were forced to get along because of the situation. At the same time, Stark was starting to become a better person by this time. He began to realize the gravity of sacrifice and forming a bigger mission to take on. And here's another good question. Will Nebula smile again when seen in future Avengers movies? That's a good question. Nebula was clearly affected by Tony Stark's death, since they both bonded on Benatar. Fans think that maybe she smiled because she ultimately won the paper football game. Winning was never a part of her character after being made to feel inferior her whole life. In many ways, it was like Data from Star Trek, The Next Generation, smiling for the first time. Maybe it seemed foreign, yet Nebula managed to feel something, having it be due to Tony Stark teaching her a very down-to-earth game makes it all the more fulfilling. The big question is whether she can smile again when likely seen in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. No one should force her to, yet her life